Hamza asks, what's your favourite genre of fiction? Well, I mean, it's what I write, I guess. It's science fiction, fantasy, bit of horror thrown in, bit of murder mystery. I guess these days you say speculative fiction or genre fiction, which is quite a good catch-all. So I guess that's my favourite genre of fiction. Rob Sanders has been in touch. So hi Rob, how are you? He says, if you don't mind me asking, how do you work? Do you lock yourself away, use music, alcohol, in brackets haha, achieve a transcendental state of spiritual calm, all of the above? I will go with the first two. I lock myself away and I use music. And if I'm proofreading and editing something, quite often I work in silence. But for the rest of the time, there's always music on in the background. Sometimes to help me get in a particular mood, I listen to a particular soundtrack. For example, I've got on my iPod a playlist of tracks from the recent Bond movies. When I'm writing some action scenes, they're quite handy to have in the background. But then some books end up with their own soundtrack, like there's particular albums I've listened to whilst writing them. But no, I don't use alcohol, and I don't think I've ever achieved a transcendental state of spiritual calm. I can't even say it, except possibly if I was asleep. Rob also asked, who is your favourite Doctor and why? Who do you like writing most for and would want to write most for? Now, it's a funny question, the favourite Doctor business. Lots of people talk about my Doctor being the Doctor who was on TV when they remember watching it. So, although my son watched a few of the David Tennants, he'd say his Doctor is Matt Smith. And I guess technically my Doctor was Tom Baker. My wife says, oh, my Doctor is Peter Davison. But because I'm a fan of the show, I love Doctor Who. The actor playing it isn't the most important thing for me. And people like Sylvester McCoy, who got a lot of bad press. I liked him at the time because I liked the show. Wasn't so keen on Christopher Eccleston, to be honest. But David Tennant, yep. But then I think Matt Smith is fantastic, and the way that Stephen Moffat's taking the show, very interesting. And he's really made time travel much stronger part of the show. It wasn't just an excuse to get people to the next adventure, but a real character. I know there's been some controversy about how he's bent the rules of the past, but just that whole idea that you can play with the aspects of time travel, I think is a lot of fun. So I've been very fortunate in that I've written for 2 Doctors now. I wrote for the 10th Doctor. I wrote an adventure game book called The Horror of Howling Hill, and I also wrote quite a lot of an annual. And then I've recently finished a children's novel for the 11th Doctor, which should be out next February, called Terrible Lizards. And that was a lot of fun. So that's got Amy and Rory and Matt Smith's Doctor in it, as well as the TARDIS, of course, and various other hangers-on. And I'd love to write more for Matt Smith's Doctor if the opportunity arose, and any Doctors who might appear in the future. And the last question today is from Michael Norris. And I think he's talking about Pax Britannia here when he says these books are amazing. So thank you, Michael. Will you include Hyde and Adam, Victor Frankenstein's first creation in later books? In case you've not read Anno Frankenstein, they both appear in Anno Frankenstein, Mr. Hyde and the original Frankenstein's monster. At the moment, they were planned for the book as a one-off, but having written the book, there's definitely potential for Adam's story to continue. And I have thought about revisiting the whole Weird War II media that's created in Anna Frankenstein in a future short story novella if the opportunity arose. And Mr. Hyde, my editor on that book, Jenny, particularly had a soft spot for Mr. Hyde, and I did too. And I think he could well make an appearance again. It's a bit like Spring Heel Jack. I wrote him for Evolution Expects, the 4th novel, and he then worked himself into the 5th novel, Blood Royal, and he wasn't ever meant to be in there. And he's going to hopefully make an appearance in a short story and a future novel. So Mr. Hyde, I'd even wondered about putting into the new book, Time's Arrow, but he's not in the synopsis. But because of what we have planned for that book, never say never. But yeah, I had a lot of fun writing them. I'm also enjoying adapting other people's creations or developing their family histories, as it were, in my future Pax Britannia titles. So keep reading the series and find out. So just to finish on, to let you know about various upcoming events that I'm going to be attending, in case you're around yourself or have the opportunity to go. The weekend of Friday the 9th to Sunday the 11th of September, so not very far away, is Weekend at the Asylum in Lincoln, which is Europe's largest steampunk festival. And I'll be there on the Saturday. I'm actually getting up on the Friday night, so you might see me out on the Friday night if you're out and about. But Saturday I'll be in the exhibition hall promoting Pax Britannia, selling my books, hopefully doing a reading and giving a talk as well. It's meant to be about 11 o'clock, but I check timings when you get there, just in case it's been moved. But I'm really looking forward to that. So any steampunks out there or Pax Britannia fans, hope to see you there. Then a couple of weekends after that, Sunday the 25th of September, I'll be at Games Day at the NEC in Birmingham. I'm not appearing as an author signing stuff, but I'll be having a good wander around myself and hanging out with the Black Library guys as and when. So you might see me there. Then the following Tuesday, the 27th of September, is the official launch of Solaris Books' House of Fear anthology at Foyles Bookshop, Charing Cross Road, London. You need to go onto the Foyles website to book tickets. They're free, but they've got limited numbers, and you'll get the timing and things. I think it's 7:30, but again, please check the website to be sure. But yeah, I have a short story in that horror anthology, The Doll's House, which I'm very excited to be a part of that. But there's all sorts of much better known horror writers who are also included and will be giving a talk on a panel, so should be a good evening, so come along. And then Friday the 30th of September to Sunday the 2nd of October is FantasyCon in Brighton this year at the Royal Albion Hotel, and I'm going along to meet up with friends and have a look at what's going on this year. On this Saturday, I think it's for both of them, there are two launches. There's a sort of Solaris event based around Solaris books, but also House of Fear, I think there's a few copies to give away there. So I'll be there. And then later on Saturday evening, there should be an event put on by Dark Continents Publishing, and I think we might be previewing a short story anthology, which is at the moment I think called Phobophobia, which is an A to Z of phobias basically. And I've written about Wiccaphobia in a story titled Fear to Tread. So if you're around at FantasyCon, see you then. And in the meantime, don't forget, it's Abaddon's Summer of Steampunk. So check out their Facebook page, the Steampunk World of Pax Britannia. They're doing giveaways, making various announcements, and I think end of this coming week there should be a very important announcement about Pax Britannia and Times Arrow in particular. So do keep an eye on that, and I better go and do some work, and I'll see you next time. Bye.